Hi there, Brett Hornby here with another sports take here. I just want to say thanks for everyone who's responded to my Dougie Hamilton trade video. I was pleasantly surprised how well that's been received. But that's not the only thing the Calgary Flames did at the draft in Dallas in 2018. In fact, they actually did select some players, and Dougie Hamilton trade was not the only trade that they made at the draft. It wasn't as big as a blockbuster, but they still made some moves at the draft. And I'll go over all the picks that they had coming into the draft, and just for the heck of it, I looked at all the picks that they traded away and what they were used for, something to look back on in the future. And that's the beauty with trades, is you don't know who wins or loses until sometimes potentially a decade out, or it's not always the best player who gets the player in the trade wins the trade. There's always a short-term winner and long-term winner as well. And I think yesterday's trade with Dougie Hamilton will benefit both the Carolina Hurricanes short-term and the Calgary Flames long-term. Anyway, I'll grab my notes here and I'll go over all the players that the Calgary Flames drafted yesterday, and also all the trades that they made going into this draft with the picks that they had that obviously somebody else had. And as I'll go over, a couple of picks that the Flames drafted to a team also got traded a few times, so a different team originally, or actually got the pick that the Flames originally had. So first, let's go over all the draft picks that the Flames had going in. They did not draft until the 4th round, 105th overall, so 104 picks have already been made. And after the 1st round, you don't get the spectacle of, the TV spectacle where you get players going up on the stage, getting their jersey, and, posing with all the brain trust and Gary Bettman. I mean, the players still get drafted and get a jersey, but they just go down into their table to meet with the representatives and get their jersey, and that's it. That's why the rounds 2 through 7 go by a lot quicker. So for the first pick that the Flames had at the 2018 draft in Dallas, it was their own pick for the record. They drafted a center named Martin Pospisil, if I said it right. I heard Pospisil, and he's a Slovakian center who right now plays at the Soyuz City Musketeers in the USHL. So he is playing in North America with the US Hockey League. So we'll see how all these players play out, which I still honestly think, being in the later rounds, you're not going to hear much about them potentially for at least 2 or 3 years, because usually players that get drafted higher up potentially can come with the team right now, right outside of camp. Then the next pick that the Calgary Flames had was 108th overall, and this pick was the second pick that the Flames acquired from Florida 2 years ago when they traded Jiri Hudler at the deadline in 2016. So at the time, the Flames traded Jiri Hudler, who was fresh off of his season where he won the Lady Byng and was a top dog with Sean Monahan and Johnny Gaudreau, and led the Flames to the 2nd round in the playoffs in 2015. The Flames were selling the next season as they regressed, and they traded him away to Florida for their playoff run. And he, in return, we got a 2nd in 2016 and a 4th round pick right now. And that pick was used eventually for a left winger. It's definitely a Greek name. His name is Demetrios Koumontzis, if I said it right. I apologize. He's actually an American, and he's playing from the Udina High School, USHS. So that's another center. So we got our center and a left winger. And for the record, just for the heck of it, I actually think the Flames won this trade for Jiri Hudler. We definitely sold high, because the 2nd round pick that the Flames used on in 2016 was Dylan Dubé, center for. He's a Canadian center who's playing for the Kelowna Rockets in the WHL, and his stock has risen up in the Flames prospects, and he was actually Team Canada for captain for the World Juniors this past tournament, and he might raise some eyes at camp this year. Because I'm going to say Jiri Hudler, he was just a rental for the Florida Panthers for the 2016 playoff run. They didn't re-sign him, and he eventually signed late there in the summer with the Dallas Stars. I looked at his stats. He only scored 3 goals, and he only had, I think, 15 points. And then since then, he's fallen off the face of the earth on the hockey roll because there was a strange story about him getting into trouble on the plane or something. So I say the Flames won that trade based on the fact that Dylan Dubé is already looking like an intriguing prospect, and Florida only had him as a rental for their playoff run and didn't re-sign him. So this Demetrios Koumontzis, if I said his name right, I apologize if I mispronounced it, is a bonus. And actually, coming into this draft, the Flames had 4 picks, but they made actually the first trade before the Dougie Hamilton trade. They acquired the 122nd overall pick, who Montreal had that pick at that time. The Flames are trading away their own 4th round pick in next year's draft in return, and they used that pick to draft a center named Milos Roman, who's also from Slovakia, and he actually right now is playing for the Vancouver Giants in the NHL, so at least he's playing in North America. So the Flames actually had 3 picks in the 4th round after not having any picks in the first 3 rounds, which later we'll get into where those picks went to and what they were used for. So the next pick the Flames had wasn't until the 6th round, 167th overall. It was their own pick, and it was drafted. They drafted a center named Mathias Emilio Pettersen, if I said his name right, another European. He's from Norway, and he's coming from the Muskegon Lumberjacks from the USHL, so another player who's playing in North America. The second player that they drafted who was playing in the USHL with the first pick with Martin Pospisil. And then the last pick the Flames made in the 7th round, it was their own pick, 198th overall. Let's see if I could say his name right, but he's a left winger, Dmitry Zavgorodniy. If I apologize if I misspelled that and pronounced that name, but he's a Russian, but he's also playing in North America. Actually, for the record, playing for Sidney Crosby's junior team, the Rimouski Oceanic from the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. So those are the 5 players that the Flames picked in the draft this past season, the 2018 draft in Dallas. And I believe that all these players were probably the best player available because they drafted 3 centers and 2 left wingers, because I still say organizationally the Flames, looking at their depth, they're pretty weak on the right side, but they did not draft any right wingers in this past draft. And I just personally think coming in, if you're drafting in the later rounds, which you never know who you can find, just ask the Detroit Red Wings when they drafted guys like Pavel Datsyuk or Henrik Zetterberg, or in the Flames they found a couple gems past 100, guys like Theron Fleury and Johnny Gaudreau. So anyway, those are picks that they made with their own picks, plus a couple that they acquired. Now, just for fun, I decided I wanted to take a look at all the picks that the Flames traded away and what they were used for and who drafted them. So originally, coming into this draft, the Flames' 1st and 2nd round pick was traded away at the draft last year when they decided to get Travis Hamonic. So the New York Islanders actually got the 1st and 2nd round pick for the Flames in this year's draft, and there was a conditional 2nd in either next year's draft or 2020, which I can get into why I figure how that was figured out. But in the 1st round, the New York Islanders, 12th overall, after the draft lottery, where Flames fans breathed a sigh of relief that the draft wasn't the 1st or 2nd, where we didn't lose. Thankfully we didn't trade Travis Hamonic for either Rasmus Dahlin or Slashikov, which definitely would have been a big blow. We should have probably lottery protected that pick because it's never guaranteed to make the playoffs. But the New York Islanders drafted Noah Dobson, who's a Canadian, He plays at the Atherley Bathurst Titans for the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. So that's the first pick that the Islanders used that they gave Travis Hamonic to us for. And then in the second round, 43rd overall, they drafted Ruslan Iskanofov. Apologize if I mispronounced that. He's Russian, and he plays for Krasnaya Armenia in the NHL, which I'm assuming that's over in Europe. And then to complete the Travis Hamonic trade, as when I get later into the next picks that were traded, the Islanders will get a second-round pick next year, but then the Flames will get a fourth-round pick from the New York Islanders next year, which I think that was part of the reason why the Flames were able to make that trade for Milos Roman, where they traded their own fourth-round pick, because they knew they were going to get a fourth-round pick coming from the New York Islanders. So we won't know how that Travis Hamonic trade will complete, obviously, for a few more seasons, but there's still 2 more picks in play. The Islanders get 1 more, and the Flames get 1 more. So now their own third-round pick was the 74th overall. This pick was acquired in the Mike Smith trade last year before the expansion draft, where the Flames acquired Mike Smith and a conditional pick. I don't know, they got Mike Smith, the Arizona Coyotes at the time, got Chad Johnson, who was basically used to be protected, and eventually signed with the Buffalo Sabres. Then Brandon Hickey, who the Flames seemed high on that defenseman, but it seemed like another situation with Adam Fox yesterday that he probably wasn't going to sign, so we traded him. And then there was a conditional pick. And then the condition was that I think if the Flames made the playoffs in 2017, that would have been the second-round pick, which then would have shifted the conditional picks in the Travis Hamonic trade. But since the Flames missed the playoffs, that pick was a third-round pick. And actually, that third-round pick that the Arizona Coyotes acquired got traded to the Chicago Blackhawks. And the Chicago Blackhawks, 74th overall, drafted Nicholas Nordgren, who's a Finnish player, and he plays at IFK Ligia. And what I looked at was this was a case where Arizona traded picks for picks at the draft table yesterday. So it's just, a package deal. So I'm not going to get too in depth what those players are picked for, but it's basically picks for picks. And then the 5th round, this pick got traded originally to the Arizona Coyotes last year, and at the deadline, the Calgary Flames traded a third-round pick to the Arizona Coyotes and a conditional 5th-round pick for defenseman Michael Stone. That condition at the time was that 5th-round pick would be converted if the Flames signed Michael Stone to a new contract, because he was becoming an RFA, or an unrestricted free agent. And as it turned out, the Flames decided to sign Michael Stone. So when they signed him, that 5th-round pick went to Arizona for this year's draft. And once again, actually, that pick went to the Arizona. It actually went to the New Jersey Devils, the 136th overall pick. And the New Jersey Devils selected that for a goalie named Akira Schmidt, who's a Switzerland goalie who plays for the SCL Tigers under-20 Junior A Elite A. So that 5th-round pick that the Arizona Coyotes got originally got traded to the New Jersey Devils, and that 5th-round pick actually was traded for goalie for the New Jersey Devils, Scott Wedgwood. And interestingly, that 3rd-round pick that the Arizona Coyotes got from the Calgary Flames did not actually go to the Arizona Coyotes. Actually, the Arizona Coyotes traded that 3rd-round pick to the Edmonton Oilers. So the Edmonton Oilers actually had the 3rd-round pick. This was in 2017, 78th overall. And the Edmonton Oilers drafted Stuart Skinner, and he's a Canadian who played for the Lethbridge Hurricanes. So I guess maybe there was a condition on that trade that all the picks involved, or any trading of those picks, must be used for a goalie. But basically, it was a picks for picks deal for both for the 3rd-round pick, and then the 5th-round pick was traded for a goalie and Scott Wedgwood for their system, who right now I believe is their 3rd stringer with Antti Ranta and being their starter. So anyway, that's my take on the draft. I say the Flames definitely made more of the impact immediately with the Dougie Hamilton trade, but I think all these picks that they had yesterday, you're going to have to wait at least 3 or 4 years to see any effects of them. And then all these players that were in play that the Flames traded away, I think they, at least the first round pick that the New York Islanders got, will definitely play a role right away. So anyway, if you enjoy what you see here, hit like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. And coming up, I'll definitely have some more Calgary Stampeders content coming up here, since it's football season right now. And as always, I'll jump in front of the camera if the Flames do anything major like they did yesterday with the Dougie Hamilton trade. So, see you in the next video.